Welcome to Nerds Property Management with QuickBooks Online. This is just an introduction, kind of an overview. I want you to get, especially if you're just starting out with this or new to the accounting part of it, I want you to get the kind of big picture overview of what this looks like and why. Most importantly, I find that if you understand why, then it makes it much easier to understand what, right? So you understand why you have to do it, you understand what you have to do. And here's the bottom line on this. If I'm managing my own properties, I can do whatever I want because the rental income I receive is mine. So I receive the money into my bank account and call it rental income. And when I pay expenses on behalf of a property, I record them as expenses. And it doesn't matter because it's my own expenses on my own property, right? But when I'm managing properties that belong to somebody else, it's a whole different ballgame because now I'm taking responsibility for money that doesn't belong to me, it belongs to them, which means we have to use what's called trust accounting. Just like when a lawyer has a trust account for their clients, same exact thing in real estate. I'm holding money in trust for someone else. I've collected somebody else's rent. That's not my money. In fact, what it means is if nothing else happened, I'd have to give that money to them. So it's a liability when I collect that money. So every dollar we receive in rent goes into the bank account, and we set up a separate trust account for each property. That's the cleanest way. And then it gets booked into a corresponding liability account, right? And we call that rents and trust liability, right? And that's how we distinguish very clearly. So I receive the money in for the rents I've collected on my customer's behalf, right, where I'm the property manager, my customer is the property owner. And then when I pay for things, so assuming I collected $10,000 in rent for somebody, and then let's say I pay $1,000 in repairs during the month, then at the end of the day, I'm holding on to $9,000 for that person, right? I'm holding on to what remains of their rents, which is $9,000. And either I've got to send the money to them, I might keep a little back to cover ongoing maintenance and repairs. That's between me and the customer and what we've agreed to and probably what's in our management agreement, right? Usually there's an amount that's stipulated that needs to be kept back for ongoing working capital needs, so to speak. So let's see what this looks like in the actual QuickBooks Online software. We're going to go create an invoice. Okay, and I've got this all set up. We're going to invoice Brad Smith because he's one of our tenants, right? I don't know how we got the extra A in there. So sometimes it's easier the way this is set up to just type the property address, 2700 Coast Avenue, and there's Brad. Okay, and normally, by the way, I would make sure there was always an email. I always want my tenants' email addresses recorded. And then what we do is we set up a separate product or service for each property's monthly rents because, as I mentioned just a minute ago, we want to make sure when we collect those rents, we can use an item on an invoice so that we can use an invoice to capture the rents. And that has to go to that rents and trust liability account, right? And then when we actually collect the money and deposit it, that has to go into the corresponding rents and trust bank account, right? So we have the bank account, we have the liability account, and the two always have to be in agreement. The only disparity there is, for a minute while I posted this invoice, the liability account is going to show $10,000 because that's the monthly rent we're going to use here as the example. And it won't show up in the bank account yet because it's going to be in accounts receivable instead. So of course I'll illustrate. But if I type 2700 Coast monthly rent, there it is, and we're going to book it for $10,000. Okay, and we'll say this was the rent for May 1st. Save and close, right? And now if I run my balance sheet, you'll see, like I said, we have the account receivable of $10,000, and we have the rents and trust liability for 2700 Coast at $10,000. So if I had a lot more properties I was managing, you would see a different liability account here for each of those properties, and you would probably start seeing a different bank account for each of those properties. You don't see the bank account for the trust yet for this one because I haven't recorded any deposits yet. So let's go receive the payment so we can get the full picture of what this looks like. So we're going to go under, this is called the Quick Create, by the way, receive payment under customers. And again, I'll just type the property address and then click on Brad. And let's see, he paid us on the 3rd, right? And we'll check off the invoice, the $10,000. And here we're going to make sure it goes into our rents and trust bank account, which I have set up as a sub account of rents held. I don't know why it's called rents held trust. I'm going to fix that. But we're going to put it right to the sub account, which is the bank account specifically for this property, right? So save and close, and now we have rents and trust, 2700 Coast, and there's my $10,000, which of course lines up perfectly with the liability for that same property, right? So these two numbers always have to match. The only time there's ever a difference should be because it's sitting in accounts receivable while we're waiting for the rents to get collected, which should really only happen the first few days of the month, right? Unless somebody just doesn't pay, and at that point, obviously, we're chasing after them. Okay, so that's really, really important. If these are ever out of sync, you have to check and fix it right away. Because imagine the owner then comes in and says, hey, I want my money, and you can't give them all their money because you don't have it all accounted for properly, right? One more thing, and then I want to show you a cool little report we can look at. So let's say we have to pay an expense. The expense on behalf of the property always has to be, and let's say it's rent a handyman we're paying, and it always has to come out of the bank account for that property, right? So again, I need this bank account, rents held in trust, or rents in trust for 2700 Coast. And if that's the bank account I'm paying out of, then I'm paying it out of the exact same corresponding liability account, right? So rents and trust liability. And notice what I did. I always purposely name the liability account with the word liability in it so it's really clear. Otherwise, it'd be really hard to tell the difference between the bank account and the liability account, especially the way QuickBooks kind of gives you these drop-down dialogues. You can't see the full sort of context here. It starts saying sub-account of rents in something, right? So I always make sure I name things with these drop-downs in mind to make sure that when I'm in this form like this, I know exactly what I'm looking at, right? And so let's say we pay $1,000 to the handyman, and in the description I would put the expense, right? So I would put just repairs. Probably would be more detailed than that normally, and specifically discuss what was repaired, right? And let's say this happened on May 15th or something like that, right? So I'd probably say repaired kitchen sink, whatever it is, right? But just be detailed, because remember, we don't have the usual detail or context that we have when we're booking these kinds of things to an expense account, right? And even if we did, we'd still want more information so that we can make sure we can explain to our property owner customer exactly what we paid $1,000 for, right? So let's hit save and close. And now we'll see I have $9,000 in rents and trust and $9,000 in the rents and trust liability. And finally, for now, we want to know how to take a look at what, the details, right? This is very simple. We've got two transactions, a rent and a payment for repairs and maintenance. But obviously, as time goes on, there's going to be a lot more detail to look at. So what I just did before I had a chance to explain it is you click on from the balance sheet. So let's start over. We go to reports. We go to the balance sheet. And I'm going to scroll down to the liability account, because this account has all the details. It has everything I need to explain exactly what came in for this property and what was paid out. So I'm going to click into this number. Now from here, it's pretty clear to see. I can see that this is rent received, right? And I can see I put my memo in there. This is repairs that were paid to rent a handyman, right? But I want to make this report look a little bit easier to read. So we're going to go to Customize, and we're going to go to Rows and Columns. And we're going to say change columns right here. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. I want my debit and credit. I know those are technical accounting terms, but rest assured, when we put these in here exactly as I'm showing you, and notice I'm dragging them each up so that they appear before the amount, you're going to see that's going to split up money that came in versus money that went out into separate columns, which already makes it much easier to read. So let's run that. Let's see what that looks like. Sure enough, I can see my rents that came in. These are credits because remember, we're looking in a liability account. Credits actually increase liabilities. So money came in, it credits the liability to increase it because we now owe our property owner customer $10,000 until we then have to pay the handyman $1,000. So now we only owe them $9,000. So this is how you can see very clearly in a given month or for whatever date range you've run this for, exactly what came in, exactly what went out, and based on that, what is left over. So that, my friends, is in a nutshell a good little 10-minute introduction to property management with QuickBooks Online. As always, if you have more questions, you can certainly post your comments below. If you want some one-on-one help, then reach out to us. You can even reach out in the comments, and we'll get back to you and help you get signed up for some one-on-one so I can walk you through how to set up your own property management concern. And of course, I shouldn't say of course, you wouldn't necessarily know this, but we've got a course coming that's going to go very much in depth on all of this, how to set everything up, how to record all the transactions that you'll need to know how to record in association with managing properties for others. In other words, property management with QuickBooks Online. As always, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, feedback, post it in the comments below or reach out to us, give us a call, and we'll be happy to help you with anything that you need help with if we've got the experience.